Our next guest was elected to 4 terms as governor of Wisconsin. He served 4 years as President Bush's Secretary of Health and Human Services. And today he's here to announce his bid for 4 years in the White House. Tommy Thompson, welcome back to This Week.
Well, George, it's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to come on your program and announce my intentions for the future.
And that is that you're running for president.
That is correct. I've been spending all my time in Iowa and some time in New Hampshire and South Carolina, but I really got an Iowa strategy. And I've been in Iowa every single week since the first week in December. I've been visiting individuals and groups and talking to people every single week, and I've been into over 30 counties, 1/3 of the counties, and over 100 communities, and it's really looking good.
But you know, you've raised only about $3,500 according to my count last year. The polls have you at about 1 or 2%. What makes you think you can?
But in Iowa, the polls last week came out that I was in 5th place and moving up and at 5%. So I'm telling you, things are starting to coalesce, and I feel very, very optimistic about my future.
Let's talk about the substance of your candidacy. You served in President Bush's cabinet. But it appears right now, at least, that most Americans are looking for change.
Absolutely.
In 2008.
And especially the people in Iowa.
How would President Thompson be different from President Bush?
Oh, tremendously. I mean, first off, I would have a completely different Iraq strategy. I would demand the al-Maliki government first to vote as to whether or not they want the United States in their country. Nobody's ever asked that government, duly elected, to vote. And if they vote that they want the United States in their country, it immediately gives a degree of legitimacy.
Most polls show that they won't. And if they voted no, Americans would leave?
Absolutely. It's a duly elected government. Secondly, there are 18 territories set up in the country of Iraq, and they should have elected leaders just like we do in every one of our 50 states. And the Shiites will elect Shiites, Sunnis will elect Sunnis, Kurds will elect Kurds, and there will be a gravitation of people going to those things, and it would reduce this terrible internecine civil war. Third, you should split the oil revenues, just like we do in Alaska. 1/3 of the oil revenues go to the federal government, 1/3 go to the territorial governments, and 1/3 goes to every man, woman, and child, just like we do in Alaska.
But to be clear, if they wanted Americans to leave, President Thompson would pull the troops out.
If the government duly elects and says we want the American troops, the American government out, we should leave.
Let me ask you something.
But I do not believe that. I believe they will vote that they should stay in there, and that will give a degree of legitimacy to a United States for being there.
Let me ask you some yes-no questions. If you were president, would you sign either the House or the Senate war funding bill?
The bill that's going through right now?
Yeah.
I would not sign it.
Why not?
Because it really just targets to the enemies that we are not there for the long haul. We're not there to defend our troops. That is what's wrong with the Democrats. They want to pull out, they want to hold money, and all they're doing is giving, an opportunity for the terrorists to say, all we have to do is hunker down, and we're going to be able to outlast the Americans. This is an invitation to continue the kind of civil war that's going on right now. I think it's the worst mistake. The president is absolutely right by vetoing it.
If your Attorney General handled the firing of U.S. attorneys the way that Attorney General Gonzalez has, would you ask him to resign?
That is up to the President of the United States. I would not have appointed Mr. Gonzalez. I would have appointed somebody that was loyal to me, and I do not believe would have made that mistake.
But do you think he should resign now?
I think that's up to the President of the United States. The President of the United States has got to have somebody there that he believes he has confidence in and believes that he is one that will support his policies. And that's up to the President. That's not up to Congress. That's up to
Do you think Attorney General Gonzalez has handled this well? Do you think the Attorney General has handled this situation
I think everybody knows he's made terrible mistakes. I think, he even himself has admitted that he's made mistakes, and his chief of staff came out and said they made mistakes. I think it's obvious, it's when people from both sides of the aisle say that there's mistakes been made, there's been mistakes made.
Let's talk about health care. You were Secretary of Health and Human Services. You've said that every American should have health insurance. How would President Thompson make that happen?
Well, first off, isn't it a little dumb? The uninsured are 47 million people in America, and where do the uninsured go for their health care? The emergency care, emergency room. What's the most expensive? Emergency room. Does that make any sense at all? It's a drag on the economy.
So
everybody's paying for it. First off, I would put every individual that's uninsured in a state into a group, and that's an insurable group, because 1/3 of those individuals between the ages of 18 and 35, 34% of those individuals make over $60,000 a year. It would be a tremendous group. Do not allow the state legislature or Congress to put any restrictions on it. Allow the insurance companies to bid on that group. And you will find, just like we did on Part D, the drug provisions of Medicare, which was just passed, that you will find that companies all over it will come and bid on that, and they will have a bid that is going to be acceptable and affordable to those that are uninsured, and will spread out the risk, and you will be able to cover every individual. Those that cannot afford it, you're going to have to supplement that through Medicaid and Medicare.
So Medicare for everyone is
no, it is not. It is allowing individuals to have HSAs. It's allowing insurance companies to solve that problem, and you can do it, George, and it's much cheaper than the current situation where everybody's paying for it, and the uninsured is going into emergency room care for a lot of their procedures, and it's the most expensive care.
You've said you would be the only reliable conservative in the race. Why aren't Rudy Giuliani, John McCain, and Mitt Romney reliable conservatives?
I think my record shows that I'm reliable. First off, I'm the only one that's put together a state budget and a federal budget. And I put together state budgets for 14 years, all of which were balanced, and all of which did not have an income tax or a sales tax increase.
But what about the others? Why aren't Rudy Giuliani, John McCain, and Mitt Romney reliable conservatives?
I didn't say that they weren't. I just says I am the reliable conservative. My record shows that. All the people have to do is look at my record, and I am one individual that they can count on.
The polls are showing that among Republican primary voters, about 60% say they're not happy with the current field.
That's true.
Why do you think that is?
I think because there's a feeling out there, especially in Iowa when I'm talking to voters, and I've been out there every single week, that people feel the Republicans lost their way in Washington. They believe that they're trying to spend as much money as the Democrats. And I tell people, if you're going to elect a spender, you might as well elect the professionals, the Democrats, instead of the amateurs, the Republicans. And that is what's taken place. And Republicans are not coming up with, really original new ideas. Like I'm coming up with an Iraq plan, like I'm coming up with a plan in regards to medical and educational diplomacy, to really be able to help our country be able to go into other countries and tell people how good America and Americans are.
Well, Governor Thompson, we're going to be watching you in Iowa. I know it's make or break for you in Iowa. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much, George, and good luck to you.
Thank you.